So now, take your questions. It can be about anything I talked about or something that you're interested in. No holds barred, whatever you want. Go for it.
As one of the first candidates to release a fully articulated platform, are there certain issues that you will feature prominently in your campaign that you're concerned your rivals in the primary might not address as fully as you would prefer?
Let me say that whoever is in this race, good luck to them, God bless them. I'm running for governor of Ohio. I'm not going to be talking about the other candidates. I've presented a detailed platform today. Not just here, but in Middlebrook Heights, I'll be in Dayton later, and then Cincinnati and Toledo tomorrow. A detailed platform. People of Ohio have a right to know, what are you going to do? Now, my record is somebody who, I just don't talk about things, I do them. I have a record of accomplishment, and I will say that what we've done today here, I think it's fair to say, is to set the tone for the campaign. To be able to indicate to the people of Ohio what their expectations should be of candidates. And they have a right to expect. I spent a lot of time thinking about this, and you'll be hearing more because all I'm giving you basically is an introduction. It's like showing you the items on a menu. As we move forward in the weeks ahead, Andy Junowitz and others on the staff will be in touch with you, and you'll see the definitive, the granular detail we go into these things in. Because look, I'm a policy guy, I understand this, but I'm also an activist. So I kind of bring the best of those things with my experience. Yes, ma'am.
You have given us a full menu of a lot of different things. Right. The thing that's missing is how are you going to pay for all this?
Well, look, you reverse policies, first of all. That's the first thing. I indicated, how do you give money to local government? Stop giving it away. How do you get money back to public schools? Stop giving it away to these for-profit charters. I mean, these are policy decisions that a governor has an ability to make. When you look at the billions of dollars in tax breaks that the state has given these various interest groups, when you look at things like the pass-through loophole, which has the capacity to recover $1 billion right there. The money's there, it's how you allocate it. That's the question. Look, I've worked on a state budget. It's the question of how do you allocate the funds that you have. I'm not calling for new taxes here. What I'm calling for is a reallocation of resources and to stop these wealthy interest groups from raiding the budget of the state of Ohio. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, you went on Sean Hannity's show last year on Fox News where you're a contributor, and you said that government leaks to the press were part of the deep state. Government leaks to the press, government employees leaks to the press, were a deep state conspiracy to bring down President Trump. How is this just not the free flow of information in a free society? And how is saying this in that form particularly going to play among the Democratic electorate?
Well, there's two questions you asked there.
Yeah.
First thing you need to remember is I spent 16 years in Congress. I'm not a rookie about this stuff. I've seen us go into wars based on lies. Yeah, actually, yes, people in Washington have lied to take us into wars. I put forth articles of impeachment against the president and a vice president for lying to take us into war. There's no question that intelligence agencies are used to be able to promote war, period. This isn't like, look, I didn't fall off a Christmas tree here. But you have to realize that I know
to bring down President Trump.
Let me continue. The Pentagon, the State Department, and the Central Intelligence Agency have people making policy. You don't know who they are. Very often, none of us know who they are. But they make policy. And they want to run the government and usurp who is ever in office. I'll give you an example. It wasn't just about President Trump. President Obama, during his presidency, there was an attempt, there was an attack that was launched by U.S. military assets that actually went against his policies. And presidents don't always have control. And that's the point I was making. And no one particularly those in the media, should get the vapors about this kind of a statement. I was stating a fact. Now, my interest is in the United States of America. Whoever the president is, the president will change from time to time. But I defend the Constitution of the United States, which says that the elected officials and those who take the oath of office to defend that Constitution are supposed to be making the decision, not backroom, anonymous, faceless bureaucrats in the CIA, in the State Department, and in the Pentagon. Now let's go one step further. Do you know I'm the only person not running for governor, just running for governor now, but maybe who has ever run for governor, who actually understands the connection. 11. I fought every day. I gave over close to 600 speeches. And I've got a piece here that my staff gave me just before. I don't know if, yeah, here it is, okay. Here's a little piece of paper I carry with me to remind me about the journey I took. In 6 Congresses, I gave 341 speeches saying, don't go into Iraq or get out. It's costing us, and we're losing lives, and we're killing innocent people. I gave 155 speeches to avoid war with Iran. There is no Democrat in the country who has that record in defending the interests of the American people. So I'm happy, you know, if someone wants to discuss that in this race, they came to the right place, because I actually know more about it than anybody. Because I spent 16 years, I didn't go to Congress with the idea that I was going to have to spend 16 years trying to stop all these wars, stop all the lies. That's how I went there, for jobs, healthcare, education, retirement security, protect the environment. I worked on those things, but most of the time I found myself fighting this machine. And you know what? It's my political independence that let me do that. You can't find many people who would do that. Why can I? Because I'm not owned. Nobody owns me. Why is that relevant here? Because I'm the one person who can make the connection from what happens internationally, nationally, in a state and a local government. That's the kind of experience I have. And there's nobody else in politics who can do that, frankly. Thank you. Yes.
What are your considerations for a lieutenant governor pick?
Wow, you're going to be, wait till Friday. I'm going to be introducing a dynamic individual with great experience and quality of heart and exciting, and we're going to have a ticket that looks like the state of Ohio. You just watch.
Where is she from?
Gee, I don't know. From Ohio. Okay, next.
You've been on Fox News.
I have.
You have actually sometimes come out in agreement with President Trump. You say...
You want to cite the times on trade? Yes. On ending wars? Yeah. I mean, look, I think Senator Brown probably has had agreement on those things as well.
But the thing is that in the Democratic primary, you're going to have to reach Democratic voters. Are you going to be reaching enough of them with your past, the things you've said in the past? Are you going to be able to reach enough of them to be elected in the primary?
Well, listen, if anybody confuses me with Donald Trump, they don't know Donald Trump or me. So, I mean, really. Next.
Why get into the race at this juncture when we've had candidates come and go?
I'm sorry.
Why get into the race this late when we've had candidates running for months? Some of
Are you kidding? Do you know when the filing deadline is? It's February 7th. There's plenty of time. Who knows? There could be more candidates in. This is the perfect time. And frankly, look, give the people of Ohio a break. They had a right to enjoy a Christmas and a New Year's holiday.
Question, locally speaking, locally speaking, we've come out of a very, we came out of a high number of homicides here within Columbus, Ohio. I mean, record-breaking homicide numbers. Some are saying that there isn't enough funding. Some are saying that we don't have enough cops. Some are saying that we do have both. What do you say? What do you think needs to be done to fix that?
Look, I mentioned part of the platform deals with peaceful communities and dealing with the issues of violence. Communities need more resources, no question about that. I mean, the state took away at least $1 billion, from local communities, which could be used for health, safety, and other areas. There's no shortcut here, but jobs are important. Police presence is important. Police training is important. Healthcare, education. It's a broad, multidisciplinary, holistic approach that you have to take. You know, we have a society that's really rough on people, and it's a dangerous society, much more dangerous today than it's been years ago. But I come from the cities. And, you know, one of the things I mentioned earlier in Middleburg Heights that I'll share with you is this. So you can put my candidacy in a context. I grew up in the city of Cleveland, the oldest of 7. My parents never owned a home. By the time I was 17, we lived in 21 different places, including a couple cars. We lived in neighborhoods where gunshots were part of the music of the night, where I saw people being, you know, carried out on stretchers with a sheet pulled over them and blood all over the sheet. I'm from the city. I know the city. I understand the city. I understand why local communities want to have control over their own destiny with respect to making laws that can protect the people. And so I come from the city. I still live in the city. You know, I live, you know, the house I have in Cleveland, I've had since 1971. It's in a neighborhood that's integrated. You know, this is where I'm from. This is who I am. So yeah, I mean, first of all, you have to understand it. You have to get it. And I get it. And I have no hesitation to walk the streets, to talk to people, to communicate, and to be involved at the level of the community. That's where I come from. So, you know, do I have a magic wand about this? No. But I do know that cities need more resources to be able to deal with their own problems, and I'm going to make sure they get it. Thank you, sir. Yes?
I'm concerned about Jobs Ohio and the lack of transparency, and I am aware, and I don't know how many people are aware, that a lot of the liquor tax money has been relegated to frack infrastructure in Ohio.
It's been relegated to?
Fracking infrastructure and pipelines.
Well, I don't want to, let me just say that I'm going to have an announcement very soon about my policy with respect to fracking. You shouldn't be surprised at what I'm going to say, because a year ago my wife and I were at Standing Rock in support of Native peoples. More recently in the Hudson Valley in support of people who are trying to stop a frack gas infrastructure. You watch what happens with the fracking issue coming out of this campaign, because I'm going to be saying some things that other candidates wouldn't dare. So as far as Jobs Ohio, look, I have a whole section. When you take time to read the announcement, I have a whole section about, shall we say, corruption in state government. I didn't go over it right now because, you know, you already all know about that, but I just want you to know I know about it. Next question. Anybody else? Listen, I am very, yes, sir. One more.
Okay, I just came in late. I want to know about legalization, your stance on legalization of marijuana for recreational.
I don't have a problem with that at all. Now look, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I never did drugs. I know, I'm boring. But I think what we need to explore is this. Legalization, regulation, licensing. The state could make hundreds of millions of dollars. You could then pour into some of the health initiatives that I'll be unveiling. So I think there's a connection there. But I don't have a real problem with that at all. It's actually in Congress I took a pretty strong stand for those things, and I'm consistent on that. And I do appreciate you raising the question. Anybody else before we wrap this up? Look, I don't have all the answers to everything, but I have more experience than most people who could run. And the thing you have to keep in mind is that when I start talking about something, I've been around the track. I know these issues. I know the state, and I'm ready to lead.
Sir,
yes,
I just
gentlemen.
have one question. Within your administration, within the White House, rather, there's been a lot of talk about the lack of diversity being represented, with African Americans being at the table, being some of the decision makers. In your administration, how do you plan on addressing that? Within your own people around?
I grew up in communities of color. I'm not, it's like these are my brothers and sisters. So I have not only do I celebrate that, but when I was mayor of Cleveland, half of my major appointments came from Cleveland's African American community. How did that happen? Because I worked with Congressman Louis Stokes then, and we agreed that going forward that we'd share the power. You can't do it any other way. When I talk about power to we the people, what that actually means is all the people. I'm going to govern from inclusivity, not exclusivity. And so with that, when I reach out to people, and I would also ask you to pay close attention to the statement I'm making with a running mate that I will be announcing, but I don't want to encourage any more speculation. But, thank you for being here. We're on our way to Dayton right now, but I'm particularly grateful for the presence of everyone here in the media. Stay in touch with Andy Junowitz, and we will be in touch with you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good to see you. Thanks.